10 harmless habits to drop if you want to be successful. 1. Saying yes when you want to say no. Saying no doesn't mean that you are being rude, selfish, or unkind. These are all unhelpful beliefs that make it hard to say no. Learning where these beliefs have come from is a great way to learn to let go of them. Did you ever wonder why it was so easy to say no when you were a little kid and why it has become so difficult now? What happened? Well, as children, we learned that saying no was impolite or inappropriate. If you said no to your mom, dad, teacher, uncle, grandparents, and so on, you were most certainly considered to be being rude, and you would have probably been told off for it. Saying no is off limits, and yes was the polite and likable thing to say. Now that we are all adults, we are more mature and capable of making our own choices, as well as knowing the difference between wrong and right. Therefore, no shouldn't be an off-limits word, but rather something that we decide on ourselves, based on our own discretion. But sadly, we hold on to our childhood beliefs and we continue to associate no with being dislikable, bad-mannered, unkind, or selfish. We worry that if we say no, we will feel humiliated, guilty, or ashamed, and we'll end up being alone, rejected, or abandoned. If you want that same feeling of freedom and empowerment, then take control, challenge yourself, and learn to say no. 2. Hanging on to people who don't want to grow. If a person isn't bringing something significant to your life, not treating you how you'd like, or isn't the type of person you want him or her to be, it's a clear sign that you need distance. While it would be selfish of you to not accept a person for whom he or she is, it would be unfair for you to have to endure a friendship or relationship that isn't cultivating a better you. Remember, you're an average of the 5 people you hang around. 3. Failing to exercise. Fact: 9 out of 10 people who join a fitness center without getting any formal training or program designed for them work out an average of 2 to 3 times before quitting the gym. If you are not disciplined, then you won't show up to the gym. Most New Year's resolutioners never make it past the first 2 weeks because they lack discipline. If you can make it through the 30-day mark, your probability of continuing increases. Discipline comes from your inner strength. You must believe in your goals and stick with them. Without your health, what good is life anyway? Take care of your body. It's the only place you have to live. 4. Multitasking. Based on over a half-century of cognitive science and more recent studies on multitasking, we know that multitaskers do less and miss information. It takes time, an average of 15 minutes, to reorient to a primary task after a distraction such as an email. Efficiency can drop by as much as 40%. It is technically impossible to multitask. When you try to do multiple things at once, you effectively take away full attention and concentration from anything, and you shortchange whatever it is you are doing. 5. Striving for perfection. Perfection can kill the motivation of the brightest minds. Some people just want every detail to be perfect. I think perfection is for losers. When you try so hard to make everything perfect, you bind your creativity. Instead of putting out something wonderful, you end up putting out crap that is overprocessed and boring. Greatness is not about being perfect. Being great means making mistakes, big mistakes, and learning from them. 6. Not protecting your recharge time. If you're a workaholic, it can be easy to let your own time get taken over by work, over and over until you're not taking any time for yourself. This may seem like it's making you more efficient, but it will start quickly doing the opposite. There's no faster way to burn out. Don't fall into the habit of denying yourself the time you need to recharge. There will never be more gas in the tank if you're running on fumes all the time. Take 10 minutes a day to meditate. 10 minutes of mindful meditation is one of the most important things you can do, according to the late great Steve Jobs. That's why he built a reminder to do so into every device Apple makes. Take good care of yourself. It's not selfish. You deserve nothing less. 7. Not prioritizing your day. We all have a tendency to keep adding to our to-do lists. We often hear a voice that says, "Do more," as if doing more equates to the value of work we're producing. But this is a flawed strategy. Taking on more has diminishing returns. You may get overworked, burn out, or feel chronically stressed by the scope of projects you're taking on. 3 ways to prioritize your day. 1. Start by setting goals. Start by thinking about what you're doing and why. Set and record goals with your team for a specific time period. Make these goals accessible, so everyone can refer back to them frequently. 2. Keep your daily task list clutter-free. Once your team is clear about the high-level goals, start prioritizing your tasks. Narrow down your daily task list to just 3 to 5 items, unless your tasks are very small. 3. Get more done. Once you have an uncluttered plan for the day, get started on your work. Getting going might be the most challenging task of all, since your highest priority task may be what you are resisting the most. To move from procrastination to action, try breaking the task into smaller parts or reflecting on why you are avoiding the work. 8. Don't whine and blame others. The world is full of people who constantly look for a way to be the victim. They're looking for a way to blame someone, something or some circumstance for what's going on in their life. There are times when life is not fair. But whining, complaining and constantly talking about how bad things are is not going to do anything to change the circumstances. You've got to take responsibility for where you are right now. Whatever's going on, even if it's not your fault. And then you've got to figure out a path to get out of it. 9. Don't allow yourself to become unfocused. Stay in motion, but be intentional about what you're doing. Most people mistake being busy for getting things done. They mistake just flitting around from thing to thing as moving toward their goals. But the world overwhelms them. Things overwhelm them. They're constantly doing this for 5 minutes, that for 5 minutes, in a whir of activity with no direction. They're like an octopus on roller skates, lots of motion but no direction. Successful people know what the main thing is. What do you need and what's important now? Doing what's most important right now is critical. So, make sure when you plan your week, plan your day, that you really focus on what's going to move you in the right direction. 10. Don't think the world revolves around you. One of the things I've always told people in leadership training is don't take yourself so seriously, because no one else does. The reality is we're all here for a very short period of time. The cemeteries of the world are full of irreplaceable people. The reality is none of us are that big of a deal, we're just human beings. We need to have goals so we're getting better every day, but the world genuinely doesn't revolve around us. Titles are temporary. Influence is temporary. The biggest don't of success is this: don't give up. Thanks for watching. For more videos on becoming successful and achieving more, then subscribe and click the bell so that you're notified when new videos are released.